Alright folks, welcome to Sergeant Slide's YouTube channel, and today we are in Steve's garage working on Steve's Mustang. So nothing crazy going on, but it's just something that I have to make a video about every time. I love you guys' reactions and I love the comments that you guys make. We're going to be swapping a fuel pump today, but we're going this way. We're not dropping the fuel tank. Now, I offered a cash challenge to anybody in one of my videos. You're going to have to find it. That challenge is still out there. But if you think that you can complete this job better and easier than I can, if you can find the old cash challenge, still a $1,500 reward. So what we're going to do is, this is a, what year?
97.
This is a 97 Mustang. The process is going to be very, very much the same for 94 through 2004. Now for all the naysayers out there, I get a lot of warnings like, oh man, you guys shouldn't have sparks and stuff. You could catch the tank on fire. Like, guys, the tank is a metal container. This is not your fuel tank. The fuel tank is underneath this metal. It would be the dumbest thing in the world to take an angle grinder to your fuel tank. The car would blow up and everything around you would blow up, and it would guaranteed happen instantly. You can cut near your fuel tank. You can cut around your fuel tank. As a matter of fact, you can see your fuel tank right underneath the car. It's right there. It's exposed to the road. So anything that you run over can hit your fuel tank. And guess what? How many cars have you seen blowing up because you ran over something in the road? So anyways, no. When you cut through the trunk, you're not cutting through the fuel tank. You're not cutting into the fuel tank. You should never, ever do that. So for the folks that think that you're cutting into the fuel tank by doing this, slap yourself. For anybody else, obviously you want to do this with caution. You always want to take the proper precautions. Anything you're working on, you want to have some sort of fire safety plan in mind, but this is just not that risky of a job. And last thing before we get started, just some of the reasons why you want to do it this way and not the other way. If you drop the tank out of the car, there's a lot of things you have to disconnect. I think there's at least 3 different lines that you may have to disconnect. You have to unplug the harness. You have to disconnect the fuel filler neck, which also has a gasket down at the bottom. And during that process, you can damage any of those things, and you're gonna have fuel spilling and leaking all over the place. You have to unbolt the straps from the bottom, and then you have a gap that's probably about 8 inches that you have to reach your arm in there and do everything that you're gonna see us do while we can do standing up on our feet. I'm over 30, Steve's over 30, and we just don't really like all that crouching and bending if we don't have to. It's nice to stand up and work on your car. So that's the reasons why we want to do something like this. And also...
And we successfully did it on blue.
Yeah, we did it on that blue car. I think I didn't do that video because I just didn't have time.
It was snowing. We did it out in like 30-degree.
Yeah, we did it on my car. That was the first one. We did it on Eugene's car. And it's great because if you ever have to come back for any reason, which normally you don't have to mess with fuel pumps, but if you're watching this video, you're probably a person that messes with things. If you ever have to come back, you can change your fuel pump in 5 minutes, which I have actually done. I've blown a fuel pump and I've changed it out in 5 minutes and I've got the car running. All right, guys, here's our current status. We've managed to make a small mess of things, but nothing is too horrible. And, you know, based on the mistakes that I've made, you can do the right thing. So once again, this is whatever year I said it was earlier on. Down in the comments, definitely let me know what the difference is between years, where you have the sending unit over here and the sending unit over here. This DIY is going to be pretty much exactly like the Fox body. I remember even in the Fox body, it had this same grommet that was right here. As you can see, we made a mistake cutting here. So again, learn from my mistakes and make your cuts correctly and accordingly. It's kind of hard for me to kind of show you where we cut, but you're gonna see these little features here, and you know, again, just make your cuts based on what I did. And you're gonna have a little bit of space in between your tank and your floor. So for folks that don't know, this is not your gas tank here. We're not cutting into the gas tank. This is the floor of your trunk. There's nothing flammable here. There's nothing flammable here. The flammable stuff is inside of here, and we will not be cutting through this. But anyways, for the folks that actually want to do this DIY, just take note of where we have our cuts and how we did it. And again, this is going to be very similar to the way that that you did it on the Fox body on this particular year. So again, in the comments, for other folks, just to help other folks along, definitely let us know what year we have it over here and what year we have it over here. Next step in this process, we're going to clean all this crud out because you don't want to pop that open and get that crud into your tank. So we're going to hit that with a vacuum.
And we're going to use a brass.
We're going to use the brass punch to open that, but before we do that, you just want to do as much as you can to clean that out. Vacuum, blow air, brake cleaner, all of that stuff. You don't want that crud going into your tank. The other pointer that I'm going to give you is this right here is the worst part, the absolute worst part of this project. Getting these lines loose. I'm not really going to offer you any tips because I'm going to have a hard time with this here myself. I used the fuel line release tool that they have. That thing sucks. Actually, the best thing for me is to use an assortment of pin caps. If you can find a pin cap that's just the right size and cut it open and make your own tool, that's the best way to do it. It's still really hard and difficult for me, but I've just found the best luck using pin caps. I think a Sharpie is the right size, and then a Bic pin is going to be the other size that you want. And I don't even think this is the correct one, but like a standard sized Bic pin. And you're just going to cut these tops apart and use them the same way that you would use a fuel line tool. All right, so at this point we are removing the fuel sending unit, knocking the ring loose. We've got the connector disconnected, which is the red piece there. And yeah, we had good fun disconnecting those fuel lines. We ended up going to the store and buying this kit right here, which actually worked pretty well. The pin cap method just wasn't working out for me today. I don't have these tools, so it's my first time using these, and these are decent. But those quick connect push locks, whatever you call them, they're just horrible, absolutely horrible to try and get off. So that's where we are, and from here it's pretty much going to be a regular install replacement. To go at a weird angle like the Fox body. Fun. All right, so here's just a tidbit to go with this video since we're in here changing out the fuel pump. Basically, we're having some power issues with this car. It just wasn't making full horsepower. After a lot of troubleshooting, we determined that it wasn't getting full fuel pressure. So yes, absolutely, the pump is your #1 culprit. But one thing that you're also going to want to check if you're not getting the correct fuel pressure is going to be this line here. And again, I've talked about this multiple times on this channel. This is a rubber line. All gasoline now has ethanol in it. Ethanol destroys rubber lines. So these lines will rupture and you'll lose fuel pressure. It's hard to say whether that's happened here or not, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this out and we're going to put the plastic line on this. But like I said, I've seen this happen multiple times before. So if you're in here and you're changing this out and you notice you have a rubber line, go ahead and change out your rubber line and use the plastic line that's going to come in the kit with your fuel pump. And that's your tidbit of knowledge for today. And we're just going to go ahead and swap it out. We're going to put a new pump on there. All right, so the new unit is going back in. This is going to also be a difficult process. Pay close attention to how you take the sending unit out because you have to turn it in all different directions because it's that weird S shape and you've got a tiny hole that you're going through with it. So, you know, I don't have any tips or tricks on how to find the correct method of putting that thing back down in there. But if you got it out, you can get it back in there. So just have patience. If you got to walk away from it and come back, do that. Eventually, you will get it back down in there. All right, Steve just got his in on the first try. I've never gotten the tank thing back down in there on the first try. So, like I said, be patient with yourself. Just keep twisting and trying and turning. It will go back down in there. All right, so we got our lines connected back up. We still have our retaining clips that we need to put back on there. These are more of a safety clip than anything else, but we're gonna go ahead and check it for leaks. So we're just gonna prime it. I'm gonna stand back, wear safety glasses for this, guys, because if fuel shoots out, you don't want that going in your eyeball. Did it run? I didn't hear anything. Oh, I heard it. It's going, yeah.
I'm just priming. I think you're supposed to hit like 5 times.
All right, 3 times.
All right, here we go.
It's quiet, yeah. All right, yeah, fire it up if you want. There we go. We're running. So pretty much at this point, I'm gonna leave the reassembly and clean up to Steve because this is his car in his house. And yep, here we have yet another Mustang ruined here on the Sergeant Slides YouTube channel. Thanks for checking it out. We'll catch you on the next one.